Marketing at leadershipmentor.com, and I want to thank you for taking the time to share your information. And I want to share with you a series of videos that are going to talk about this thing we call coaching. We coach team members. So what does that look like? And I want to share with you some very specific things that you can do while you're coaching your team members to help improve performance and commitment along the way. And once we begin to do this and we start to model this coaching process that we're going to talk about, again, you're going to see a big difference in how your team views you. You're going to see a big difference in their performance. And there's a lot of other things that we could go into as far as the benefits of coaching. But this is really a foundational skill that you need to learn about how to be a better leader. And this applies really to any level of leadership. And so it's really important if you're new that this is really a foundational learning for you. So let's take a look. First of all, let's define what coaching is. To change negative behavior and to reinforce positive. So one of the things I want to share with you, I guess, is the importance of not just being one of those leaders, managers, supervisors that simply pounce on team members when they do something wrong, but we want to make sure that we spend much more time to reinforce that positive behavior. So it's really two different philosophies that we have. So as a good leader and as a good coach, we do need to manage and be aware and correct negative behavior, but that should not be the primary focus that we have as a leader. We want to be able to recognize that the performance that is what we're looking for, somebody who does a great job. You want to make sure that your team really identifies that, they see that reinforcement in a positive way, and they begin to behave in that manner because they also want to receive that positive reinforcement. So that's one of those things that most team members, most of us, really crave that in a work environment, is that positive reinforcement. So we want to use that to our advantage. So really the essence of what I'm trying to say is we don't want to be that negative manager that all we do is just kind of jump on people when they do something wrong. And I think most of us have been in that environment at one point or another. The focus in coaching is on future success, not on past failures. So again, I'm not saying we don't identify the negative behaviors, but in coaching, what we do is we move quickly to the future success. So if we were going to sit down with a team member, we would want to make sure that our starting point is to identify very specific, very measurable behavior that that team member did. And if it's something that you're trying to change, then you would identify it. You would talk about why that behavior or why the performance is not acceptable. Maybe the impact that that has in a negative way on team members or customers. But then we want to move to a solution. So again, oftentimes new leaders tend to stop there. And so they identify that. They don't share that other part about why it's important not to do that or why to change that. They simply say, this is what you did, don't do it again, or this is what's going to happen. And so that leaves us as a team member really not very motivated or energized. That's kind of the fear that we can place on team members, and that's not really creating a very positive environment. So I want to encourage you in this process to clearly identify what it is, the behavior you're trying to change, and then make probably 80 to 90% of the coaching session on future success. So let's take a look at this power of responsibility. Coaching without responsibility is really just a conversation. So in this coaching process, as I mentioned, if I'm simply going to talk to you about what you did wrong and what I expect of you, and then we end that, that's really a conversation at best, and maybe not even that because it's very one-sided. So we want to move past this conversation. We want to allow there to be some commitment and identify some areas or some opportunities to improve that performance. And so this is very much a process of getting the team member engaged in this process. So it's not you just telling again, in the coaching process, what we want to do is get the team member engaged, get them to identify what it is they did wrong or something that they need to change, understand the importance and the impact of that, and then move forward by getting the team member involved in the solution. Now I want to talk about the power of choice. When told what to do, I blame you. And I love this short saying because it's a constant reminder of really our coaching process overall. So let's say that you're going on a trip and you stop at a gas station and you ask somebody for directions that happens to be getting gas there. And so they give you these directions, and so you follow those directions, or you think you do from what you heard them say, and you get lost. Well, who do you blame for that? You're going to, assuming that you followed their directions, you're going to be upset at that person that gave you those directions. But in a different way, and certainly we don't use maps very often with Google and things like that, but if you take it upon yourself to find the resources to find those directions, whatever that is, and you get lost, now it's your fault because it's all on you, and it's something that you did. And it's easy for us to be accountable for getting lost in that scenario if I'm the one who, went and found the map or looked it up on Google or whatever it may be. Now you're accountable for the outcome, not there was nobody else in that process. So when told what to do, I blame you. So what we want to do in our coaching process is we want to say, let's come up with some solutions and then make a choice on the best ones. And this is where we would gain commitment from the team members. So get them involved in what are some of the solutions, and then choose the best solutions. And again, this isn't just the team member coming up with them, saying this is what I think I can do, and this is what and it's actually a very clear process where you're going to ask them to come up with multiple potential solutions. What behavior can I change? What are some things that I can restructure? And then what is it that you're going to commit to? So you've said 3 things. What do you think is the best outcome? What that does in that process is the team member is involved in coming up with the solution. They've made a commitment based on those things. And if they come up with solutions that really aren't valid or you don't believe are going to support the positive end result, then you would talk through that and then take those off the table. So the coaching isn't just letting them come up with something and hoping that it is going to produce positive results. It is a conversation that you have, and you would talk through those things and make sure that solutions list are going to produce positive results potentially. So let's come up with some options, and then you choose a solution. So when we do that in this coaching process, the team member leaves that conversation feeling totally empowered because they came up with those things, and they're now accountable because you did that. So that is the first part of our coaching session. There's going to be more sessions to follow with very specific coaching skills that you can use in this process. And I want to thank you for the time you spent with me today, and look for your next coaching session to be coming soon. I hope you have a phenomenal week.